Our guest on for Journey today is a Dorset-based singer-songwriter whose debut singer "In My Shoes" hit number one on the Amazon new release list within a week of release and remained in the top 20 best-selling new releases for 5 weeks. A track from his debut EP made a highly acclaimed appearance on the Mojo Songs in the Key of Paul McCartney album. I'll talk more about his journey as we go along, but welcome Nick Capaldi to the journey.
Hello there, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Now, everyone has a start in their journey. Now, yours obviously, I assume, was music, but what was your earliest memories that inspired your journey, do you believe?
For me, it would have been because I wasn't really into music until I was about 13. I think a letter came home from school advertising lessons, musical lessons, and there was a list of instruments, and I quite fancied the guitar. And then that coincided with a few weeks later, Blur's Park Life come out in 1994, and
Mm.
I had that on cassette, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And something about it just made me want to do that same kind of music. And then I got into the Beatles and Bob Dylan and Neil Young, and that was it. I was off. I'd learned guitar. I was obsessed with it, so I'd just sit up all night playing. The next thing for me then was to write my own song, like everyone else was doing that I was a fan of. So it was a very exciting time for me once I realized I could write songs and the people that I showed them to liked them and thought they was worth pursuing. So I did lots more.
So touch upon such greats, like you said about Parklife. That is one of the songs that I grew up with that song, and I just feel like it was a very song that pushed people, inspired people to like know there was things beyond in my time, it was beyond the realms of school. So I understood that as well. So
Yeah, no, it was so melodic, and that whole Britpop time was a very healthy time for British music.
yeah, and it just moved on from the 80s genre music, which was synthesized, new wave. There is that new dynamic to music, and it was a fresh start, per se.
That's right, yeah. And it was a flavor of the time, and styles people were wearing were different. It was a great memory, and really strong songs came out and great bands of the
So,
time.
so you said those musicians, did you aspire to be just like them, or did you want to be your own style, but sounded like them?
When I listen back to cassettes now that I used to make on my parents' stereo, I laugh because I'm obviously far too influenced by a certain person. Like when I got into Bob Dylan, whether I knew it or not, I was trying to put on a Bob Dylan voice. And then Neil Young, and then the Beatles, and then Blur. I was trying to sound like Damon Albarn, and it took me a while to realize that that's not what I need to do. I don't need to try and sound like them. I need to find my own voice, and I didn't know what that would be or what my own voice was. It took me years to kind of find my own identity, really, and until somebody said, "No, you have got a voice that is recognizable." So it was good.
It's amazing, and it says here about meeting. You made music with your friend Steve Balsamo on the stories, lead role in Jesus Christ Superstar, and Tim Hamill in Swansea, Wales. The sessions produced quirky rock pop songs that were released on an EP called The Golden Summer. Tracks from this were played on Radio 2's Whispering with Bob Harris.
Yeah,
Now, Radio 2, as we know, is not the main number one radio station. Well, as in Radio 1, but Radio 2 is a good start to say because it's more listened to.
yes, it's got a very wide audience of recognize and cool people. I do like radio too, very much, and it was very nice to be played. It was always late at night, so I used to
Because
ask
Bob
people.
Harris used to be that time of night, I believe it wasn't
Yeah, it was about I think midnight this show started, so I'd always be staying up late thinking, "Oh, I'm
it?
on again tonight. Everyone listen."
And I remember back in the day when I used to listen to radio, it was always that case of listening to radio late at night because that's where I found when I recorded tapes to make like little radio shows. I made radio shows from the music from the later shows because I found it more informal. It felt more connected, and now you have got BBC connecting, so
Yeah,
you've got the
exactly.
local sounds coming through.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The later at night radio is, the better the show is, and the more intimate it feels.
Yeah. So going into what we're working on now and why I've decided to ask to interview you is that you've decided to release a charity per se single for a local hosp yeah, children's hospice, and I believe that's near where you live, which is Dorset and Wiltshire's Children's Hospice, Julia's house.
Julia's
Yeah,
house, yeah, but
yeah,
it's a really lovely place. Very it's a very positive place, very colorful. They have a really good time there. It's just great to see. And one of the things they do is they do tours there when the children aren't there to show the people the place if they're not sure what a children's hospice is like. And a lot of people have a kind of a vision of it being very clinical, depressing, and they wanted to change the view of that to they give the children a really, a really colourful time. There's a little music room there, studio, and there's all sensory stuff everywhere. I went there recently to play to the children, some of the children in their garden, which was really nice. So I was sat under a parasol and it was really sunny, and I play a song. We'd have a little chat, play a song. Um, so when it came to write this song called Lovely People, um, the lyrics just came quite easily. I just wanted to sing about positive, happy places, happy people, really nice vibes. And Julia's House came to my studio to record their Christmas single. And I was chatting to them and said I'd love to put this single out for you guys, because it just kind of embodies what you are. You're lovely people. We do lovely things for the children. And then when we did the artwork, one of the therapies they do with the children is hand painting. So yeah, that was a
yeah,
cue for
but
me to
fun.
make a big mess of the house. Yeah, so got messy with hand paints, and that's on the front cover of the single.
And I just love because I watched a video in it, through your YouTube channel, and I just felt there was so vibrancy of how you sang as well. It was like you
Mm.
didn't care how you sang. It's just like I'm being me, I'm unique, but at the same time, I want this to be fun.
Yeah, yeah. It was important that we did a fun video. It's a good excuse to do silly things. One of them was me going up on the roof of our studio with the guitar. And
Don't
I need
recommend that to do that all the time.
no, yeah, don't try this at home. And I did nearly fall off because I was going a bit fast and a bit excited, thinking this is where I should sit. Oops, there's a long way down. But I needed to get the same shot in daytime and nighttime, so I had to wait until it got dark and go up there again in the dark. And I went a bit more careful then.
Mm. So, do you believe your work will continue to grow as it is? And do you believe with the exposure that you're getting now will enhance your popularity?
I'm hoping so with the popularity. I'd love to get my music out to more ears because the feedback I get when people do hear it, like the album has just won an original music awards album at the OMAs for best recorded work, and I was absolutely bowled over because I'd never had that for an album before. So I'm setting myself boundaries with this album called You and All the Seasons. It took me 8 months to make it. And I've never taken so long to make anything before. But I wanted to make, for me, what I would consider my own masterpiece. I set the bar so high like that I thought I've made albums, I've made EPs, but what's different about this one? Needs to have something else. And I wanted to just have a collection of songs that I was so proud of and that had grown since the last albums. So now I've done this one. The president is even high. President's for the next one.
And then when you do the next one, you set yourself another.
Yeah, yeah. And each time then obviously it gets scarier because what can I do better now?
And obviously, I will put the links, obviously, to Spotify and places where people can hear you, and obviously your Facebook fan page, as I call it, so people can follow you for more.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. And if they want to come to the live shows, I'm doing a big one this year at the Tivoli Theatre in Wimborne, where there's about 11 of us on stage because to portray the album how it needs to be portrayed, I needed to get some of the session musicians to join me on stage, really, to make it big. And because usually I just go out, just me and an acoustic guitar, but this is going to be a proper show. That's 5th of September in Wimborne, if anyone can get there. Tickets are on
Wimborne in
sale.
and Wimborne in Dorset, if anyone
Yeah.
is unsure when Wimborne is. So it does say about your tour here. It says UK tour. You start being on tour last few days. So you've done Wimborne in the Allendale Dale Centre, and you're going back to Wimborne to do the Artisan Market and then the Folk Festival. Then you're going to Dorchester, Winton, Ornest, when you're going to South Wales, Dorchester again, then you're going into London, and then you talk about the one in the 5th
There's
September.
there's Chelmsford as well, I think.
Yeah, Chelmsford on the 20th.
Yeah,
So
that'll be
quite
a
a
good.
range of areas you can go and watch you. So how do you prepare yourself in the moment for those times where you go out on stage? Is there any key moments that you make yourself feel I can do this, or is there times where you feel nervous and say, "Oh no, I can't do this"?
No, I'm unfortunately a big worrier and extremely anxious person. So from the morning, the night before the gig, in the morning, I'll be really anxious, and it's not till I'm just about to go on that I manage to sort myself out and the nerves drop, and I go on and just think I need to do the best I can. But it's the hours leading up to the gig. I just think about anything that could go wrong. What if I forget the words? And I just worry too much, really.
I know, and I sense that, and it's okay to worry because if you don't worry, it's like I'm not saying this in the harshest way, but you're a puppet, you're constrained, and you like wooden, and you can't do anything. So from my experience, because I've been
Hmm.
on stage, I've been on the radio with
Yeah.
myself as well, presenting. It's like just be yourself, and just imagine if you're sitting next to them on a sofa, being a one person.
Yeah.
Well, you just multiply that by how many people's watching you. So it's loads of service you're sitting on.
It's very true. Yeah, absolutely. Mm.
So to conclude this interview, because obviously we said we condense this in 20 minutes, what would you say to future musicians who like to inspire by music? What would you say to them to push them forward in their success?
If it was a similar thing to what I'm doing and what I want to do, I would say just really work on trying to write the best song you can to get that initial single out there to push you. And don't try and sound like anybody else. And try and play some great places. There's great places up in London like the Bedford that have lots of greats have come through, like Ed Sheeran and people that have been very successful. And just play the right places, get people behind you, maybe get a manager, agents, so you can play even more.
No, I love that. And Lovely People again, and you can clarify this, is available right now and it's on your YouTube channel. And obviously, if you buy a physical copy, all proceeds goes towards Julia, Julia's house, right?
It does, yeah. You can get the CD single, which has got off of my website, nickcapaldi.com. There's links there. And it's yeah, all the proceeds go to them, and it's also got 2 remixes of the song, very fun remixes that we did. One was we started off calling it a house party mix, and then we thought, oh, Julia's house party mix. Let's change the name. Yeah, the other one's called Glitterball Mix. They're both very different but very fun.
But I love that. And I applaud you for your continued work for that charity because it's so close to you. But
Yeah,
most of all, I applaud you for being you because that is the most important person is you being you.
that's very true. Yeah, yeah.
But
Thank
thank
you.
you for being part of the journey today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
The Journey podcast explores stories of personal growth, challenges, and life-changing moments. Each episode dives into unique experiences, offering insights and inspiration for listeners navigating their own paths. I believe everyone has a story, worth sharing. If you'd like to share your journey with David and others, email your story to wisewords1983@reborn.com, and it may be featured in a future episode.